We are watching as crypto continues to climb higher, and I do think that this is something that's not just going to continue for the next 24 hours or the next, couple days, but I do think that this is the start of a much larger rally. Now, do I think that there is going to be some nice pullbacks here and there to give us some more opportunities to accumulate? 100%. But I do think that this has now confirmed that we are going to be witnessing a much larger move across the board, which I will outline in this video. Now, for XRP holders out there, questioning or wondering, when is XRP going to break out even higher than what it is right now? In this video, I am going to be showing you guys the exact moment that XRP will break out to new all-time highs. But we are also going to be talking about a significant price prediction of over $30 plus to even $50 plus for XRP, which, again, I'll give you guys my thoughts on. So sit back, relax. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on in and let's actually talk about a few things. Number one, we are getting close to the $3 trillion market cap level, which is very exciting to see again. Fear and greed back to neutral on the lower time fear and greed index. We're actually at greedy levels, which is kind of concerning because, again, it's kind of warning us that we might see a short-term pullback here soon. But outside of that, Bitcoin, by the way, current prices, I am recording this a little bit earlier, but we have current prices, Bitcoin at about almost $94,000, XRP at $2.26. But guys, check out Ethereum. It's been going unnoticed, but $1,800. It's outperforming Bitcoin. It's even outperforming XRP. And this is actually on the 7-day and on the 24-hour span. If we actually look at the 24-hour span, Ethereum is now getting up there with some big players, and it's actually outperforming a lot of the altcoin market, which is very good to see. We actually want to see that happening to confirm phase 2 of alt season. Now, are we there yet? No. Not yet. Not until we start to hear those discussions about Ethereum flipping Bitcoin this cycle and everyone getting extremely bullish on Ethereum again. But I do think that we are getting close to that point. Now, on top of that, right? Let's talk about some price predictions because I did recently see a big price prediction, and we're going to circle back to this towards the end of this video. Because I want to outline a lot of my thoughts on this. We've been hearing these crazy price predictions on a lot of things. Number one, Bitcoin. We've been hearing anywhere between 150,000 to 250,000. All of a sudden it's 300,000, then it's 400. Like, this happens every single cycle. And I want you guys to all be aware of this. Okay, I can come onto this YouTube channel every single day and tell you guys that XRP is going to go to $100 in the next 10 days or the next 20 days, or, oh, buckle up for a $10,000 XRP. But I'm not doing that. And the reason why I'm not doing that is because it's something that I don't believe. I am not going to tell you guys something that I personally don't, see happening or I don't believe in. There is a lot of YouTube creators out there, and I'm not going to name anyone by names out of respect, but there's a lot of people out there making clickbait content simply for the views and simply for the money that they earn on those videos. This is one of those price predictions that, again, it's not absolutely absurd, but I don't see it happening this cycle. We have watched charts like this circle around this space for years now. 2020 to 2021, the big price prediction was $20 to $30 for XRP. It was going to, follow the same fractal as 2017 and 2018, and it was going to do this, going to do that. And guess what? Nothing happened. Now, you might say, well, it's because of the SEC lawsuit. And yeah, sure, you could say that. But also, it just didn't make sense for XRP to hit those prices because of how early we still were in terms of like the stage of adoption. But we have here from Sistine Research, and we have target for XRP is $33 to $50. Feels a bit conservative as we're following a very similar pattern as 2017, but much larger. If you're willing to measure as a cup and handle, targets could be as high as $77 to $100. Now, their other price predictions here are just kind of ridiculous, okay? You're talking about, some of these market caps being just ridiculous. Right? Like $370,000 for Bitcoin is just insane, in my opinion, for this cycle. XLM at $7, HBAR at $4, Litecoin at $500. Like, some of these price predictions are not too crazy, but majority of them are just insane to me. And this is the chart that we have for XRP going to $33 to $50. There's zero fundamental backing to this TA. Like, if we're really thinking about proper TA and somebody that's actually calling for like a $20 to $30 XRP, Credible Crypto. He backed it with the Elliott Wave theory. Could it go to $20 and $30 this cycle? It could. But when we're starting to see charts like this, it does concern me a bit. It feels as if we're getting closer and closer to the top for the cycle. Now, do I think that we're there yet? No. I think that we have a little bit more time. I talked to you guys in yesterday's video about 3 to 6 months. I still think that we have that time. But I'm going to circle back to this chart towards the end of this video. But I want to talk about a few things first. Number one was I made a post yesterday and I said, commence the rotation from gold to crypto. I also think that we see a rotation from stocks too, but initially we will watch as stocks bounce harder. This was the post that Income Sharks posted yesterday, where Goldman Sachs actually said that gold will hit $3,700 by year end and may hit as high as $3,950. And this was right at the peak of gold. Now, this is what gold looks like right now at this current point on the 12-hour. This is the 1 day as well. I do think that gold has hit its top. I think that, and I said this yesterday as well, I think when it comes to gold, what we are trading in, we can throw this on the weekly, what we are trading in currently is a very similar state back in like August, for an example, where we hit a high and now we're starting to chop and sell off. I don't think that gold is going to do something like this where we just, sell off deeply or anything like that. No. I think that gold is probably going to chop and do something like this for a few months while crypto really kind of starts to wake up in a big way. Also, by the way, this candle wick here on the weekly is pretty bearish as well, which will also signal, a deeper shift on gold to the downside. So main thing that I'm really kind of looking for on gold is to find some support here. So about like $3,022 would be my safe level to really kind of start to chop a little bit. We might even have just like a deep wick below it, and then we chop sideways, waiting for a much larger expansion on a chart, which could take, months. And that's exactly what we want to see. Very similar back to, August of 2020 all the way throughout 2021 and 2022, which I did outline yesterday. But this is a video actually from Bloomberg TV just yesterday talking about how Bitcoin is breaking away from tech stocks and trading more like gold. This will echo globally. Check it out.
Breaking away from tech stocks at a pretty good time, trading more like gold just in time for gold to rocket higher. You can see that physical Bitcoin, gold, is up about 9% over the past month in April alone. That has dragged Bitcoin higher, especially in the last couple days. The crypto is up about 6% or so. And take a look at what has happened to tech stocks. In blue, you have the NASDAQ 100 actually lower by 6.5% or so. So Bitcoin may be taking on some safe haven characteristics, at least when it comes to its relationship with gold, Tim.
Physical Bitcoin is what Katie called it. Let's discuss this decoupling between Bitcoin and tech equities. A Bloomberg crypto team.
So they are calling it the decoupling, right? And, a lot of people thought that this would never happen again because it kind of did start to happen back in 2020. But again, during that time, risk on assets were already extremely bullish anyways. The main thing that I'm actually watching for this time around is for Bitcoin simply to outperform not only gold, but stocks. That's going to put the big spotlight on Bitcoin. And everyone is going to probably question right now, Nick, why are you talking about Bitcoin? I thought we were talking about XRP here. And yes, we are. But first, Bitcoin does a tremendous run up. First, we have to clear this like roughly 93.2 to like 95.6K level, really kind of breaking over the previous highs from like the beginning of March. I would love to see us break over this 95K level. That would confirm a much larger expansion on Bitcoin. I think that we're already kind of there. We just cleared a lot of price action on this chart, but this would take us to a new higher high, and that's what we just want to continue to see on Bitcoin. But so far, it's been an incredible overall, like last 48 hours, if you will, of trading on Bitcoin, which is very exciting to see. Now, outside of Bitcoin, the main thing that I'm actually looking at right now, and I did say it just recently, is Ethereum, right? So this is where we start to think about altcoins heavily. This is where we also think about, all right, well, when is XRP going to break out even higher? I mean, XRP is doing very good today. It's up about almost 8%. We're sitting at about almost $2.30. We did tap it recently. And, so far in the last 7 days, it's up almost 10% as well. We're still kind of bouncing off the lows. We still have yet to create a higher high. But the question is, when is XRP going to continue even higher, break over those previous highs, and go to a new high for the year? Because right now our yearly high is like around roughly $3. I know it's around like almost $3.40. I know on this chart it's saying like $3.29, $3.30. But if we actually look at the wick here, it's about $3.40. So everyone's questioning, when is that going to happen? Well, we look at Ethereum. Why? Well, because Ethereum is a big signal for the altcoin strength side of things. So when Ethereum is starting to break out, typically altcoins start to break out in a big way. Now, you might also say, well, Nick, how is that true if we're talking about, back in November, Ethereum barely broke anything. It didn't even break a new high going off of the March of 2024 highs. And yes, I will say that you're correct, but Ethereum still did jump off of the lows, and it still did climb to those previous highs to rally against those highs. We didn't break over them, but still, Ethereum did perform fairly well. Now, after that, Ethereum did continue to just crash. The main thing is that dominance was usurped from Ethereum into things like XRP during that time because of XRP, just surging in value. But right now, if we actually look at Ethereum, we did just hit a massive demand zone, a massive supply zone as well. And this is like major support going all the way back to like 2023. So this is actually very bullish to see on Ethereum. This is where we would bottom, and it looks as though we're getting a nice impulsive move here. First key level of interest to actually push over on Ethereum is like right around this roughly like 2052 level, reclaiming those highs from the middle of March, but also reclaiming highs going all the way back to like November of 2023, which started that initial impulse move back to $4,000, and like it's like $4,100. I'm just going to round it up. So that's what's going to be the main focus here for Ethereum, is just kind of breaking over these highs. That way we could signal that big shift back to these previous highs of 2024 March, and even just recently in December and November. Now, while Ethereum is breaking out, I do suspect that Ethereum is going to start to climb heavy on the dominant side. And the big thing around all of this, outside of just the USD chart, is the Bitcoin pair. This is where we start to see dominance usurped from Bitcoin into Ethereum, starting the beginning stage of alt season. And this chart has been absolutely bearish since going all the way back to December of 2021. We are talking about almost 4 years ago now, and it's been bearish since. And we just hit a massive macro bottoming zone going back to 2019 and even January of 2020. This is where this chart would bottom out, and this is where we start to have that massive impulsive move on this chart, which happened back in 2020 into 2021, which led to one of the biggest altcoin, moves in terms of like the actual market, and also going all the way back to like 2016, 2017 as well. This would be the start. If we start to actually break out against Bitcoin here, this would be the start of alt season. This is the exact time that we start to see Bitcoin dominance dropping while the entire market continues higher, including, of course, Bitcoin, which will take XRP and other altcoins to new all-time highs, and they will also surge in price discovery. This is also where we look at XRP's Bitcoin pair and XRP's dominance chart as well. These two are coiled up in a nice flag formation. I'm waiting for these two to actually break out in a big way, because when they do, that will be a much bigger signal that XRP's next big move on this chart is going to happen. The next key level of interest right now on XRP is really kind of just clearing over those March highs, and that's about roughly $2.57, almost 58 cents. So I do think that another big impulsive move here for XRP and for the entire market itself actually is brewing behind the scenes, and I think everyone should be focused on this. But the entire environment right now around crypto is still very bullish. We might have a pullback here and there, but they're not going to be noticeable on the chart. It's kind of similar back to, looking at the chart right now on XRP. Like, a lot of these moves back here, which would have, if you actually were trading back then and watching the chart, like a lot of these lower time frame, moves were devastating to a lot of people during this time. But if we look back on it, it's really nothing to us. It's absolutely, unnoticeable at this point because of that massive push to $3 plus, which is exactly what I'm expecting here if we have like a nice little pullback on Bitcoin, which if we do, it would happen from these range highs, just to kind of fill like this fair value gap anywhere between, 88K, if you will. So main focus is about 88.4K to about 92.6K. And I know that that's a huge gap to fill, but that's what we have right now on the daily. If you look at like some lower time frame trading, like the 12-hour or even like the 4-hour, the gaps are a bit different. But I wouldn't write off like a mid-level retest on Bitcoin from these highs to really kind of just chop a little bit more. And with how high Bitcoin dominance is, it could hurt altcoins quite a bit. But I don't think that it's going to be long-lived. I think that we pretty much pump out of those levels, just like we did back here, on the initial push that we got back in November. Like, this was the first sell-off after we climbed so high. This is what we would be expecting here on Bitcoin again, is just like a nice little sell-off back to retest support, and then we continue even higher. And the next big impulsive move will be much larger than what we just got. So the next move here on Bitcoin could very well be over 100K plus. And if we are starting to see Bitcoin dominance selling off during that time, then that's going to cause a surge across the board for altcoins and for the whole market. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.